r/AskReddit by Redmond Dtes. What is a secret that could potentially ruin your life if your family or friends found out? I'm not the truck driver they think I am. I own the company. It's a secret because they are insanely financially irresponsible and ridiculously entitled. Would just lower my quality of life and disrupt my peace dealing with them being vultures 25/8. I'm a recovering cocaine addict. Just about to hit 9 months sober. Was addicted from the first time and did it every day for a solid year and a half. Caused immense financial, medical and mental health issues. Quit cold turkey. No one even knows I started. Was very close to not being here if I didn't get my shit together. Received a large amount of wealth. Nobody shall ever know aside from my parents, who have successful careers and businesses. Would probably stir up a lot of shit, because most of them suck at the financial aspect of life. I live like I didn't get a dime. I'm married. I come from a Middle Eastern family where I'm expected to get married under Sharia law, which is impossible since my husband is not Muslim. I couldn't care less and married my husband civilly because why revolve my life around rules I don't abide by anyway. Anyway, since my family still lives in the Middle East and I barely talk to them or see them, I just don't see the point in telling them the truth that we are married so they don't harass me or my husband or try to sabotage my life. Decent shot I won't be alive by Christmas. 2 years ago I was living a dream 10 years in the making. Traveling the entire world and working remotely. I'm now back in my hometown, taking care of my blind brittle type 1 diabetic mom and dad who just had 11 strokes this year. I have a biopsy scheduled for Monday. It doesn't look good. I'm not afraid for myself, I'm afraid for my wife and my parents. Edit. Thanks for the warm wishes and personal experiences. My wife does know and has been a rock through this process. I'm keeping it from my parents currently because it would make things much more difficult for them and selfishly, myself. I gave a baby up for adoption and didn't tell anyone. Didn't tell my family or friends that I was even pregnant. I lied to my work and said my baby died because I needed to take leave to recover and didn't want to answer uncomfortable questions about why. A dead baby gets no questions. I'm already fat, so it was easy to hide. I didn't gain too much weight, so I didn't even need to buy new clothes. I just think everyone would be disappointed in me for not even trying. I left the father before I knew because he was extremely abusive. I didn't feel mentally prepared to try and raise a child on my own and was terrified he'd find out and try to get custody. He would have been the worst father and likely abusive in many ways, and I really didn't want to have to fight against that or attempt for child support. I couldn't afford a child at all. I can barely support me and a cat. But I make too much money for any assistance, even with a child. I work from home, but I cannot have a crying baby in the background, and I cannot afford daycare. It was just logically impossible. My family could not, or would not help me, or would help me, but use it against me later. After a certain point, I called an adoption agency, and they explained it to me. I just felt it was best for the kid. It kills me every day I'm not taking care of them. But they have a nice family now, who really wanted a sibling for their child, and had fertility issues. I know a little piece of me is out there, but no one else that knows me in real life knows. My son's not mine. Possibly. But he is, and always will be. I refuse to do a DNA test. His mom admits it's probably not. He's literally sitting right next to me, playing video games with his cousin. Or brother. Wouldn't ruin my life. I just don't want him have to deal with that. From the age of 20 to 30, I had a relationship with someone 41 years older than me. For context, I'm a guy. When I was a kid, my older brother, older than me by 3 years, used to sexually abuse me and groom me, to the point where I enjoyed it. He and I would experiment with each other often, especially once we were teenagers. This led me to question my sexuality for a while, and got me heavily addicted to porn. Us messing around went on for a bit, even after he moved out, though it slowly dwindled to a stop as we got older, we saw each other less, and I got married. I really wanna die. I'm only hanging on because of the people that I love and that love me. I'm disabled, physically and mentally, and life has been really hard for most of my life. I'm tired of this shit. And I'm medicated and in therapy. It seems like I keep just coming back to this place, no matter what I do. I'm just so fucking tired. My net worth just hit $1 million. My husband of 30 years left me for an online girlfriend he'd never met in person, and then took an early retirement to avoid paying alimony. I got my foot in the door at a high-tech company, despite my age and significant employment history gap. It was a good fit. I got fast-tracked for promotion. They were generous with bonuses, 401k matching, restricted stock units, and the company's stock price has skyrocketed with the AI boom. The ex still refuses to work, is currently living with his mother, and was dumped by his online girlfriend. If he had any idea what I was making, he'd come after me for alimony. At that point, it would make financial sense to quit the job I love and either retire or find less stressful, lower paying work. So I live quietly and frugally, and everyone thinks I'm barely scraping by after the divorce. Most of my friends and family know I served in combat in Iraq. Some of them know that I was involved in some of the hardest fighting of the whole war. But they have no idea what that experience was like, or what kind of person I was back then, and I don't plan for them to ever find out. I went full hippie when I got out. Cut contact with all but one guy from my unit, including my then girlfriend, met and married a liberal hippie chick, got fat, had kids, and embraced dadhood. I've mostly kept my immediate family, ex-wife and kids, away from the family I grew up with, and I never even let my kids meet the one guy I did keep in touch with before he passed, though I regret that one. But 25-year-old me was an honestly horrible person with horrible views, who would have been a danger to anyone around him if I hadn't realized how much I legit hated myself when the time to re-enlist came up, and my fears of dying as the villain in everyone else's story overcame my desire to stick by my buddy's sides. And I still feel guilty as shit about not re-upping. My father-in-law has made my husband 70% beneficiary of his estate. Their daughter, my husband's sister, is getting 30% because she is an entitled transactional shit. She is almost 50, but thinks her parents are still responsible for her financially if she needs help. She makes 6 figures and has no debt, so she never truly needs help. She has no perspective. I actually asked him to make it 50-50 because this will cause horrific drama when he dies. But he refused because he wants to feel like he is getting back at her. He is too cowardly to cut her off now. His solution is to sidestep the drama by placing it on our shoulders. My mom's late husband is not the man she thinks and tells people he was. When I was 14, we were playing darts in the garage and got drunk on tequila. After we were pretty drunk, he started bringing up sex and experiences he had as a young man. It wasn't too weird until he told me a story about when he was very young and fooled around with his neighbor friend. They were doing stuff, and his friend ended up ejaculating on his butt. After this story, he asked if I had ever had sex and if I wanted to try what him and his friend did. I said I needed to use the restroom and went inside and went to bed. We never talked about it, and he passed away that summer due to complications from surgery. It wouldn't ruin my life, but it would ruin my relationship with my mom and family. Edit to at, I'm male. That my significant other and I worked ourselves up from around 20 grand net worth 10 years ago to over 1.5 million today. Both our families are very financially irresponsible. Everybody thinks I'm completely deaf, but I can actually hear perfectly fine. My uncle cheated on his wife 11 years ago at a wedding we were all at. To this day, when I talk to them, it's always on the tip of my tongue, and the voice in my head says tell her, but obviously it's been so long it wouldn't be fair to her. I was 12 years old, and my family knew about it, and gaslit me into saying they were just asleep next to each other. My brother had text messages and screenshots saved from when my stepdad was sexually harassing me. When my brother died, I stole all of his flash drives, hard drives, and whatever else like that. My stepdad died before he died. I know if my other siblings found out, that it wouldn't be pretty. I'd rather be disliked for being a little thief than that. Like others here, I too have also inherited a large sum of money. I haven't received it yet, but I heard from my heirs attorneys overseas, and it will arrive soon. I'm very fortunate to find that my uncle was African royalty and had no other family, leaving me the sole heir. Man, once the ID verification goes live on Reddit, you all are going to need to come up with new questions. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.